So the next movie we're looking at is Alien Romulus. Now, in the timeline, Alien Romulus takes place between Alien and Aliens, the first two movies of the series. The most important movie I would say to watch, if you haven't seen it, is Alien. There are references to other things a little bit there. We'll talk about in a bit. But the main thing is I think it's good to see Alien. It's the most directly connected to that as the direct prequel. And there are a couple things that happen in it too. Generally, before going into spoiler territory, how did you feel about Alien Romulus?
I gave this 3 popcorns. I thought it was pretty good. Which I put, well, what
That's
I wrote
three out of 5, right? That's 3 out of 5?
3 out of, well,
or 3 out of 4. Like, what's the max
it's
popcorn?
It's 3 out of 4. But if I give 4 popcorns, I give a soda. No, it's kind of weird, but
if you get 4 popcorns, you get what?
A soda.
Oh, a soda. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So instead of 4 popcorns, it equals a soda.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. So but for people's minds, it's 3 out of 4. Like, you know, generally, just to understand what you're going for. Okay. So once you're 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5, it's a big difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Didn't get a soda with this one, but it's 3 popcorns.
Okay.
The biggest gripe with this is that I know there are some scenes that you feel nostalgia, but I think they kind of went overboard with it a little bit, especially with the
wait, no, remember, try to stay out of spoilers right now.
Well, I was say they kind of without spoiling it, they kind of regurgitate some scenes in here, but but they were well done.
Sure,
I kind of gave a pass on it because the scenes were very well, especially that last scene was very well done.
Yeah,
but we've seen it already. But that's probably my biggest gripe with it. But other than that, I think it was a good movie. I think they hit on the point with the relationships, especially between the main character and
her brother.
Her brother, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what makes the movie.
Yeah, that's the emotional core of the movie, and I agree. That was what they built the movie around, and I think that was a smart move. I think the biggest issue I had, I thought it was very good. The funny thing is, I watched it and I liked it, and then over the last couple of days, I've been kind of thinking about it a bit more, and if anything, I'm starting to like it and look forward to watching it again because I think I'm actually going to appreciate it more on reviewing, like rewatching. Because the thing that was tough about me is, again, I thought the first act, just like the other movie when we just looked at the first act, was a little bit choppy. It wasn't quite. It didn't quite. It was like the introduction of the characters and stuff. Some of it worked, some didn't. But it felt. I don't know. I didn't start connecting with the characters for a while. It took a while. Like there's a scene early on where they're in there and they're discussing the heist that they want to go on, and that scene, I think one character kind of stands out, but a lot of the other ones don't really. And this is something my daughter pointed out. The biggest issue with the characters in it is the guy that plays like the leader of the group trying to do the heist. That he has almost no personality or there's no character issue with him. He's like almost like I said to my daughter, he's almost like a male Mary Sue, but he's not super powerful like a Mary Sue is. But just he's nothing wrong with him, right? That was like a problem. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just there. And he's a reasonable, normal person, and that's it. That's all there is to him. And he's like one of the 4 biggest characters in the movie. Like there's other characters that are have lesser importance, that are in less of the movie, that have more going on, more personality, more issues, more stuff. He doesn't really have much of anything. And I feel like there might have been something they wrote out of it. Like maybe because I think they hint at a relationship between him and the main character. And I think maybe they cut that out because the movie's already 2 hours long. Maybe they thought, it doesn't really add anything to it. But maybe that was what was going to be there and just gets cut out. But it leaves him with nothing. So he's in there. He's in a lot of it, but there's just nothing really going on with him. Everybody else got something going on. Everybody except for him. And I think that was probably, in terms of flaws, the biggest one. So he has a lot of speaking lines in those early scenes, and it doesn't really connect me to him. And he's just kind of there. There's also, and we'll go into spoiler territory in a minute, but there are a couple illogical things that happen that you're like, really? Like it's kind of snapped me out of the movie a little bit how ridiculous this is. But overall, the set pieces were amazing, like all of them. Like just every there were about 4 or 5 of them, and we see one in the trailer. The first one in the trailer when they're in the room trying to break into the like the freezer unit things. It's probably too early on. That's the first thing. That's well done. That one isn't over long, which I was afraid it would be. They kind of like it's the right length. And then of course the third act is killer. The third act kind of, and that's the thing about it, is watching it, I was like, this is pretty cool. But then the third act really sold me the whole movie. I was like, watch it. After the third act, I'm like, wow, I'm really looking forward to watching that movie again. It's because that third act I thought really killed both character level as well as the actual spots and the actual what they shot. Now, as you said, and now if you haven't seen this, you like the Alien movies at all, go see it. We're going into spoiler territory here. As you said, there is a lot of references to the other movies. There is a lot of actual similar shots and similar emotional beats that they play. Like the thing about which one did you want to say? So let me, because you had one that you wanted to talk about, happens towards the end of the movie that you thought was just was too much like something we'd already seen before. What was that particular thing?
It's where she's ejecting him out of the alien out of the ships. Well, first of all, where
every movie does that though, bro.
Yeah, well, the first part of that is where the woman gives birth.
Yes,
saw that Prometheus, and then.
Well, no, Prometheus wasn't a birth. Prometheus, it was like the force C-section.
What?
And remember, that was a whole scene though. See, the one in Prometheus though, that was a whole like her trying to like not get killed by the thing, and her like be like, hurry up, hurry up. That's one of my favorite scenes from Prometheus. But that's her like that movie like tripped me out when I first saw it. But that was this one. It's like kind of after the fact. It's like it's there. It's like done. It's not really a big thing. It just kind of happens. So I would say that'd be my retort, is that actually just kind of happens pretty quickly. It's not a big. I made a big to-do out of it of her getting cut out of it. But yeah, that's Prometheus. But in this case, it's similar. But that's the thing, is that you do like, you've had like 7 of these movies. It's like you're gonna have a lot of similar stuff. Like the thing with her fighting being outside, and like the trying to survive the what you call outer space, the suction of outer space. Every one of them has that. And it's like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're regurgitating the same.
Yeah, but to me,
but it was
one of the best.
It was beautifully done, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so to me, if there's an alien movie, it's in space. At some point, they're shooting it out the airlock. Like that's just the reality of it. It's not dying any other way. They don't really die. So unless you go lop its head off like it's Michael Myers or something, I don't know how else you kill any of these things except shoot it out into space and say bye. Like I don't know what else you do with it. So to me, at least make each one unique and interesting. That's all you can kind of hope for. But there was some predictability to some of the drama of it. I thought it was interesting about how they tried to expand like the robot stuff. Oh, also this other thing. The worst thing, just the thing is so visually absolutely gorgeous this movie is. Just the shots. Remember the thing skating off of the rings of the planet. Insane visuals, except one problem. The face of the android sitting on the table. I don't know if they got the real actor and tried to de-age him, or if it's all CGI or what, but it looked terrible. And I get
CGI because I think that the actors passed away.
Okay, but to me, I'm like, they should have just used somebody else. Like, I understand why. Get another actor and put makeup on him to make him look like that actor, but that CGI was terrible. So the first shot of it, you're like, what the heck is this? It was just it shot me right out of the movie. I got used to it, and later on he's on video and stuff, and it's distorted, so you can't see it as well. But that first scene with it, I'm like, this looks so bad. And it was just the rest of the movie looks so amazing that it's just it really took me out of it there. So that was a shot. And again, I said the first 15 minutes of it, I just didn't think were very good. But once you get through that, now that I've seen it, that won't matter to me. So now I've seen the whole movie, the first 15 minutes aren't going to bother me that much. It was just when you're first watching a movie, the movie's trying to get you invested in it. That's what the first act's job is. And so I think the first act's job in this movie is to get you invested in a lot of the characters. It doesn't do the greatest job of that. I think early in the second act actually helps that a lot. And the movie does eventually have that effect, but I think it takes a bit longer than it should have. And the first time you see it, you might be a little disconnected. Like, how much do I really like these characters at this point? It's interesting, but It eventually pulls you in, I think, but it just takes a little while. But okay, so yeah, I think for me, I'm gonna start off with an 8 out of 10. So I just do 1 to 10 for my views. That's my 8 out of 10. But I think it could be. I'm gonna rewatch it. I think it could be a 9. It's an 8 for me right now, but it could be a 9. I have to I'll probably another movie I'm looking forward to having in my collection in like 4K or something. It looks so sick. I think I want that. Like I don't even care about like Deadpool. That can be in like, in just 1080p probably or whatever. This movie I want like 4K. This movie looks sick. It's like funny thing is like I felt the same way about Prometheus. At the time, it looked really sick. Now it still looks good, but I've seen other stuff. But at the time, I remember being like, wow, this looks so amazing.
That's the funny thing about the aliens. Like they all look great. But
yeah, for time.
Like storyline. I mean, the Alien Covenant was terrible. But
that was the thing. That still looked beautiful, but it was a terrible movie. It looked absolutely beautiful, and it was terrible. But it was just like it was just a bad story. For that,
I would say it's probably, as far as sets, that's probably the best look one out of all of them. But it was the worst one.
It had like 2 good scenes in it. It had like there was a scene I liked where the people get they probably put the person in the med bay and the alien comes out of them. He's trying to run away from them, and they stuck in there with it. Like that, I thought that was dope. And then at the end, when it takes out like the last few people, I thought that actually was that when it's just rolling around and people in the shower. Like I thought that was a cool, like just an alien kill scene. I thought it was a good kill scene. But yeah, the story was terrible. Like, the whole stuff with David and stuff. That I don't know why they did that way. Like it's a bad story. But yeah, so that's the thing. So like where I want to go through like too long of a process of ranking all the Alien movies right now, but just generally, where would you put this? Like what's a good comparable for you, or where would you generally place it in your like lexicon of Alien movies? Like I'll start to kind of give you an idea. For me, Aliens is still the best one. I love Aliens. I like it even better with the extended scenes. I like it when it's already 2.5 hours long. I like it when it's longer. Put the machine gun back in. Let me see the people before the monsters come. I like all of it. Give me the longer intro with her at the base. I don't love, but it's fine. Put it all in versus all out. But theatrical release too, it's fine. So that's my top. After that, there's several good ones for different reasons. Alien's a classic, but I do think it's aged a bit. And I watched it recently, and I don't think that it's I think that there are certainly things about it that have improved from a screenwriting standpoint too. That is the most well done. I'm a big fan of Prometheus. I know some people don't like it. I do. I take it as its own movie. I don't worry about how it connects to the universe. I just think it's a movie. I like the character. The casting's good in it, and I really like that. And so it's probably around where Prometheus is, but it's much different than Prometheus. But it's probably around there where Prometheus is, and I would probably put both of those above the first Alien, even though it's the original. It's a classic. It's a landmark movie. But as far as if I'm recommending somebody watch a movie now, and so you can only watch one Alien movie for the rest of your life, watch Aliens by James Cameron. If you can only watch 2, watch Aliens and then watch either this or watch Prometheus. If you can watch 3, then watch 4, watch those 3 and then add Alien probably. And then you can go to 3, 4, Covenant. I think that's now AVP is a whole different thing, so I wouldn't even put those in this. But I put it around where it's I guess tied for second, I guess right now with Prometheus. Very different reasons though, and I could see it actually even be above Prometheus. Depends on how it goes on rewatching. So that's the idea, man. So what's your thoughts on that?
I would say top 3. James Cameron Aliens, Alien, and I'll put this one. Reason I put Alien first because I think they set the standard, even though it's a little, like you said, a little dated. But they did set the standard for everything. So I'll put Alien second, and then probably this third.
Okay.
Because a lot of the Alien movies, I'm kind of Alien 3, I think was good, but I don't think it was a good follow up to Aliens.
It broke the cardinal rule, man.
I'm like, why you gotta kill our characters?
That's what I'm saying, man. It broke the car. It broke it in an aggressive way. It It broke it aggressive and to me an unfair way. So it didn't even break it during the course of the movie or at the end. It broke it as the introduction to the movie. Like, oh yeah, that movie you loved that turned this into a national, like a super international whatever. Man, F that movie. Like, forget that movie. Like, why are we doing that? So that's my gripe. That it's kind of slow. Like I watched it. I haven't watched it in a long time, but last time I saw it, I was like, oh man, this is a little dull. It's a little bit. And 4 is kind of goofy, but it's kind of entertaining. But then the end is really silly. So I don't know. So that's why, like, to me, Covenant and 4, I just don't try to think about too much. 3 is okay, but I guess, but I don't know how much I really like it. It might just be might just be a decently made movie that I don't want to watch. Like I'd have to watch it again to really have a strong opinion. Other than that, it's not terrible. It's okay, I guess, but how okay? I don't know. I have no strong desire to see it, despite the fact that Sigourney Weaver is still excellent. I like Charles S. Dutton, but just the movie is just
it just kind of took a left turn.
Yeah.
I don't understand y'all trying to be different, but and then thing it comes out of a dog, and it's just like, so it was more agile. It's like nothing special about that.
Yeah. One funny thing I was about to go, but one funny thing I wanted to talk about, because there are a couple goofy things in this movie that I want to mention. Now we're in spoiler territory. One is when the guy, or one is that, and this is true of the original Alien 2, and I watched that recently, and then watched this, is that the alien is the problem is conservation of energy. That's my problem. The alien comes out of a person's body this big, without any additional inputs. It's gigantic. No inputs, no food. It just goes away. And in this movie, especially, there's no food there. It didn't kill anybody. It just goes into an egg and just grows like magically. Like there's no, it's just, that's the thing. Like it replicates that kind of magical aspect of the aliens that in the other ones, you did time to go off and they ate people. But I guess they always have been like that. But these two movies really show off that magical aspect of these aliens, which is they just magically grow to like 20 times their size when they come out with no inputs. They don't eat grain or anything. Like with the aliens movies, like, they went off, they could eat the stores of food or something. They were smaller. Just something. And then the other one, the Alien 3 one, it's smaller because it came out of a dog. And it's not really that big. But even that one, like, it's like, okay, where did he eat food? He still kind of grew, I guess. But I want to say that one, it seemed like it got bigger, but that might have been bad special effects. But in the first one and in this one, it's clear. It's tiny. It sheds a little thing. And it's a reference to that. And it's just, man, that's the thing. If you watch this right after watching the original, there's little things like that they have to, like, Fede Alvarez and the other screenwriter. They watched the first one and like took everything they could to like ode back to it that they could possibly reasonably do. And so they had a little skin, looks like a giant condom, like a Magnum condom on the ground. That's the egg it comes out of, or the thing, the little sheath that comes off of the thing when it goes into the cocoon. That was kind of cool. They showed the cocoon though, and the dude tries to kill the cocoon. That was kind of cool. Yeah, man, it was very good. But there was that, and the other one is when they're walking through, they have all the little face huggers. They're like, they don't have eyes, so they go by heat and sound. And he's walking through there, and the chick starts blowing up his phone, and instead of being like, just break it right away, just be like, I'll call her later, you know what I'm saying? Or just turn the volume off or something. He's like, hello, what's going on? What's your problem? Like he's like the helpline or something. And this little alien like, sweat coming off his eye. He's just like, and he just keeps talking. It's not even like this is one of the scenes where brevity would have helped. If he had come in, he gets the call. He said, "Bad time, chick. Call me back." Click, and it's too late, and he's already sweating, and that's it. Then but he has like a 1-minute conversation with her while the alien just slowly like, "What's he doing?" And he's just like, "Come on, man, what's wrong with you?" And everybody else is staring at him like the robot and the girl looking at him like, "What's wrong with you?" So I thought that tripped me out there when they had that scene. It made me dislike it, but it was just kind of like this is like horror movie thing where like, why are you running up the steps kind of thing. Like, what are you doing here? So, but yeah, it's still a really good movie. It's 8 out of 10, might be a 9, depends on how I rewatch, how I feel about it.
But that's funny that she that's another thing I point out that she made good use of the face huggers,
Yes,
like
they
the whole
did.
army of them.
Yeah, that was something new. That was something new though.
Mhm.
And it was interesting how they basically had like a flesh printer. Like they figured out what they look like and they could like print the flesh.
Mhm.
That's what they were doing with that. They were like able to like just generate them out of the thing. I thought there's a brief mention of Prometheus in it, like the Prometheus something or whatever. I'm curious to like watch that. It's like a reference, like they knew about Prometheus, but I don't
Mhm.
really see how necessarily would have. Like it's like they wanted to make like an ode to it. They see it looks like they kind of re-extracted the black goo back out of the things and like refine it. But
Mhm.
they mentioned something about Prometheus, and I'm like, that ship was lost. It blew up. How would you know that they ever met anybody? Y'all hanging out with David or something? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't. How would you even know about Prometheus?
Well,
Um,
well,
or
apparently they haven't explained it yet, but they knew about it somehow because
okay.
the android knew about it, basically. So, but
Oh,
they haven't explained it yet.
okay. Yeah, I hope they make a sequel. I hope they keep on. Hope Fede Alvarez does it again. That's what I'm saying. Like, just and like he co-wrote it with somebody, so it probably means the other person actually wrote most of it, and Fede just chimed in. A lot of directors do that. They have their dude, and it's like this is the guy like the guy that did the Hangover movies. He directed the first one. The second and third he co-wrote with Craig Mazin. Craig Mazin's like his homeboy. Like that's like his guy he writes with. But Craig Mazin probably does most of the actual writing of like scene, insert this. They kind of come the story together, and he goes off and turns some, pushes it out, gets out of it, fleshes it all out, and then they come back and refine it together. The other guy probably does that for Fetty. But anyway, he might get a good team, so I hope they should go back and make some more of these. Make another one, man. Just take your time, like don't rush it. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. People are like, oh, it's whatever, it's gonna blow up. Got it. Like, yeah, but just be cool. Because I feel like they kind of maybe rushed Covenant. Maybe that's how that happened. That was different. And see, that was two different screenwriters. So they had totally different people do Prometheus. Covenant was a guy that wrote Gladiator for him. He had him. Ridley Scott had him come in and write it. And I just think it was a bad story. I don't know if Ridley Scott came up with it and told him to do that, or if he came up with the bad idea. I don't know how that worked, but it's a totally different guy. So it continued the story, but it really just took it its own direction. And that one broke the cardinal rule too. It didn't do it on screen, but it did it. Thanks for watching this clip from Only the Real Movie Podcast. Please like and consider subscribing to Low Key Classic Movies. And look out for the next episode of Only the Real Movie Podcast coming at the end of every month. Check out a full podcast or maybe one of these clips or another video from Low Key Classic Movies.